Good Monday morning. Well, I wanted to ask the question of us today, why do we have a final book of Jesus and his revealing? Why does this even exist at all? Why is there this cosmic battle at the end of the age between Jesus, God, and a creature named Satan? Well, I think it's important to look back at the origins of Satan and how he actually arrived on the scene and the role that he has played now for the last 6,000 years. From the time of Adam, even the role in which he plays in our stories today. He's called the accuser of the brethren. He's called the father of lies. He's called a thief in John 10:10, who comes to steal and kill and destroy. And most people, at least believers, realize there's a real enemy out there that we battle with weapons that aren't carnal but are mighty through prayer to the pulling down of the strongholds of the enemy. Some people don't realize that they live in a spiritual world with a real enemy. And some live daily underneath his instruction and devices as he moves them around like pawn on a chessboard. But Satan was an angelic being who chose sin. Now it's interesting for us to know this. Satan is a created being. All angels are created beings. God created Satan knowing Satan would choose pride, try to obtain God's authority and power, strive for power. He knew that his heart would move to sin and that he would be cast down. So he knew what the role that Satan would play. God knew before he made man that man would choose sin. God knew from the beginning that Jesus would be the lamb slain before the foundation of the world. He knew that he would send Jesus from the very beginning. He knew what relationship with you and me would cost, that it would cost his son. But he also knew that there would come a battle at the end of the age that would once and for all do away with Satan. Satan will meet his demise, but I wanted you to hear how his story began. It's recorded here. It's recorded in both Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, but I'm going to read to you Ezekiel 28, and it says this: "You were the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering: sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, emerald, and carbuncle, and crafted in gold were your settings and your engravings." Boy, he must have been something to look at. So adorned. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. You were an anointed guardian cherub. I placed you. You were on the holy mountain of God. In the midst of the stones of fire you walked. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till unrighteousness was found in you. In the abundance of your trade you were filled with violence in your midst, and you sinned. So I cast you as a profane thing from the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, O guardian cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was proud. This was his sin. Now it's interesting because if you had one quantifier for Jesus, it is humility. And if you have one quantifier for Satan and self, it is pride. Your heart was proud because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I exposed you before kings to feast their eyes on you. So, the AmazingFacts.org writes this. It says Lucifer was a covering cherub or angel. One covering angel stands on the left side of God's throne, and another stands on the right. Lucifer was one of these highly exalted angels, and he was a leader. Lucifer's beauty was flawless and breathtaking. His wisdom was perfect. His brightness was awe-inspiring. And Ezekiel 28:13 seems to indicate that he was specially created to be an outstanding musician. And some scholars believe he led the angelic choir. Now this is how Isaiah writes his fall. How you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of dawn. How you are cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart, here's his pride, I will ascend to heaven. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne on high. So what was he really after? He was really after the throne of God. And God says, I will share my glory with no one. I am God, and beside me there is none other. Do not be deceived, Lucifer, the deceiver. You are not God. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the far reaches of the pit. Those who see you will stare at you and ponder over you. And listen to this. This is what's going to happen at the end of the age when we finally see this one who has accused us, who has stolen from us, who has lied to us. We're going to look at him and we're going to say, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms? Who made the world like a desert and overthrew its cities? Who did not let his prisoners go home? Revelation talks about him as well, and we'll get into those passages as we start our study in that book. But I felt it was really important that you have to understand where we started to understand Revelation is where it all ends. And this is why Revelation has to take place at all. Because Satan chose pride. But yet one day we're going to look at him, this one who has tormented all of us in so many different ways. We're going to look at him and say, really? This is what tormented me? This is what I allowed to let me live in fear or anxiety or depression or worry, or this is what stole from me? This is what I sold out to? This? One day that day's coming. And I'm telling you, I cannot wait to be there. Something worth thinking about on a Monday.